Hello guys, do you know the difference between visa and permit? In terms of immigration, people so much confused about the two documents they receive when it's related to immigration to Canada, especially related to temporary status, because we're talking about temporary status. So the difference between visa and permit, what's the biggest difference we can name?
The biggest difference, the visa in a passport allows you to enter Canada, to cross the border.
Right.
The permit which you have allows you to stay in Canada and do some activities. For example, if you have a study permit, you could study.
Right.
If you have a work permit, you could work. Of course, maintaining the conditions which were outlined in those permits. But the permit itself does not authorize you to re-enter Canada. So having a valid work permit or study permit but not having a visa in a passport means that you can leave Canada at any time. But in order to come back, you need to have visa in a passport, which could be issued based on that permit.
Exactly. And related to that particular timing issue, some people asking us, and obviously naively, and we understand it's not their job to be educated on immigration rules, but some people ask about the length of the visa, and some impression is, I have a visa for 10 years, I can come to Canada and stay for 10 years because I have a visa. Is that true?
I wish. I wish that for all our clients who will get 10 years visa and a passport, they can stay here for duration of 10 years. Unfortunately not. The multiple entry visa, which is usually being issued until the expiration date of your passport, or up to the 10 years, whatever comes first, only authorizes you to enter Canada. If it's a regular tourist visa, it means that you can come to Canada anytime prior to the expiration of that visa. Let's say, as an example, your visa is expiring in 2 days. Does it mean that if I enter Canada today, I can only stay for 2 days in Canada? No. It means that I can enter Canada today and I can stay in Canada up to the duration of 6 months. But talking about that 6 months, 6 months is not like you're right as a tourist to stay in Canada for 6 months. You can be granted the entry up to 6 months, but the final decision on how long you can stay in Canada will be based on the CBSA officer, the border service agent.
That's what we call discretion of the officer, guys, and this is very critical point, right? Discretion of the officer at the border. They can stamp your passport and allow you to be here because for, let's say, for 2 weeks, because you identify the purpose of your visit as 2 weeks vacation. And people sometimes take it very abruptly and arrogantly, I would say, and they say, I have to have this visa because I was promised this. Nobody promised you anything in immigration. Your status can be canceled at any time too. So, very interesting topic related to status inside Canada. Let's say you arrive and you have valid visa. You just described that. And you're allowed to stay, let's say your permit issued and you allowed to study for 2 years, but your visa already expired. You have to leave Canada and apply for a new visa, or there is some special avenue for special people?
Let's take an example. Let's take a life scenario. A lot of international students here in Canada, right? So let's say you were back in your home country, you applied for a study permit to come here and stay for, let's say, 2 years. You received your visa and a passport where it stated student, and you received an introduction letter, which is a confirmation that your study permit is approved. You arrive to Canada, you show the visa to the officer and show that letter. Based on that letter, the officer will give you study permit for that duration. Then after you finish your study program, let's say you stayed in Canada for 2 years, you studied. After that, you apply for a postgraduate open work permit.
Let's say for another 3 years.
For another 3 years, because the program was for 2 years. And now your visa in a passport where you were a student is already expired.
But you want to visit your home because you miss your parents.
Yes. So you are in the situation where you have work permit, which is valid for 3 years, but you have no visa in a passport. What to do?
Exactly.
Is it necessary for you to apply for a visa? Is it some critical situation? Not at all. You can stay in Canada for all the duration of the 3 years because you have the right to stay and work because you have a work permit. You can also leave Canada, but the problem will be for you to return to Canada because the work permit itself or study permit does not authorize you to re-enter Canada.
Right.
So if you're planning to go visit your family back home and then return,
Or even
for
go
example,
on vacation, let's say
or go
for the spring
vacation,
break.
yeah. So then you need to apply for the visa based on your new permit in Canada, which will be issued till the duration of that permit.
Right. And this is very direct correlation between two documents sometimes. All you need to do is just get a proper legal advice, and for that, ask us about consultation, order one, subscribe to our channel, like us, and stay safe.